Hello, HEX here. I am a student at Full Sail University for Business Intelligence Master's Program. I currently hold a entertainment business bachelor's degree, and I'm currently taking the Business Intelligence Analytics course with Dr. Samar Roshdy. The last 20 posts in my blog functioned as a structured analytical audit of organizational performance, not just as an isolated commentary piece that was guided by coursework, research, and guidance from our instructor, Professor Dr. Roshdy. The first cluster of blog posts established descriptive baselines, which would be like the first form of analysis. I wanted to get into quantifying growth trajectories, personnel allocation, and cash flow behavior. This required statistical interpretation, financial literacy, and quantitative translation. And so for my working company, they're not publicly traded. They're not a large conglomerate or enterprise. So internal data is not something readily available to me unless I sign a bunch of contracts. So the best thing that I could do was analyze the entire market around what they do. So the goal was established there, which was empirical visibility. What is happening, not why. These posts constructed the measurement framework necessary for me to dive deeper into inquiry. The next cluster transitioned into diagnostic analysis. I examined hiring frictions, production bottlenecks, and volatility within demand signals. And this is where I moved beyond just surface metrics into structural causality. Systems thinking became more central, and I mapped dependencies between marketing activity, labor capacity, and operational throughput. These posts really identify constraint nodes rather than merely some reporting performance shifts. Mid-series of the blog, I was able to introduce formal systems modeling, and the marketing data flow architecture reframed from the organization as an interconnected processing system, market signals entering, transformation through campaign deployment, engagement conversion, revenue realization, and reinvestment loops. This required operational theory, data modeling, awareness, and feedback loop reasoning, while subsequently these posts grounded strategy and financial mechanics. When we move into the cash flow analysis, this forced alignment between growth ambition and liquidity realities. I was able to evaluate sustainability, timing gaps, and capital allocation disciplines. This integrated accounting knowledge with risk analysis and temporal modeling. The later posts moved decisively into prescriptive strategy, and with certain expansion recommendations, hiring recalibration had production leveling and constraint mitigation that was required for decision science logic. I evaluated trade-offs under uncertainty considering risk, scalability, and long-term alignment. And this is where management and management science were strategic in theory and how together they were able to converge. Throughout all of these 20 posts, there were several competencies that I realized were pretty consistently applied. And those were analytical reasoning, systems thinking, temporal modeling and quantitative literacy, strategic evaluation, and I guess to get all of those things across, it would be technical communication, which I believe, being able to take something that's 20,000 words long and turn it into a paragraph is definitely a talent. In addition to research methodology, the blog had demonstrated applied interdisciplinary sciences like statistical science, system science, decision science, managerial science, and some types of behavioral and social economical science. These are things that measured architecture modeling, recommendations, resource optimization, churn, and engagement analysis. The intellectual progression followed a full analytical life cycle. Measure reality, identify structural stress, model systemic flow, stabilize financial and operational capacity, design strategic expansion logic. The posts were not independent essays. They were formed at a cumulative framework, and each new post did not replace the previous analysis, but it built upon it and evolved it and adapted it and made it more integrative. And this type of increasing abstraction just integrates cross-domain theories and refines the strategic clarity of the entire project. So by post 20, I arrived at the blog ending and had transitioned from observational data to something way more honed in. I arrived at, a form of reporting that was disciplined in strategic synthesis. The blog series really represents to me a comprehensive applied business intelligence audit rather than just an episodic commentary. Again, I'm HEX. I'm a Full Sail student and the master's degree program for business intelligence, signing off.